Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to Basketball Conference, the ACC Football Podcast. My name is Joey Weaver. He's Mike McDaniel. Mike, week 5 in the books. Pretty crazy week in the ACC. How you doing? You want to recap some games?
It's victory pod for me. I'm wearing a Virginia Tech shirt.
There you
Proud
go.
to sporting that. So feel good about that, and feel less good about some other things that happened Friday night that I guess we have to talk about to sit here and
I sense that there are a couple people interested in talking about what happened Friday night,
including longtime listener Chris Grondin, who wasted no time in the pre-show mentioning that this is, quote, the most anticipated recap episode of his life, which I do understand.
Was it? I think it was Chris. Was it Chris, or was it one of our other Virginia listeners that sent us a video from the field in the middle of Scott Stadium? Sorry,
Devin Hamilton.
Devin Hamilton was the one that sent us the video. Yeah.
Yes.
Love it.
We're going to talk about that field rush, but that was crazy.
We will get to that in a few minutes. We are live.
You Died award.
Oh, God. Unsanctioned, but yes, perhaps. We are live, youtube.com/@the-ACC Football Podcast. We are a few minutes before 11 o'clock on the East Coast on Sunday, September the 28th. Appreciate you all for the patience. You know, this is what really would have been a good week to go live last night, Saturday night, but just the way that schedules worked out, that wasn't going to be a great night to go. So glad the folks are with us already. We've got a bunch of people here in the chat. Good to see you. There's Devin Hamilton, our guy, right on cue. Will Secor with us. Nuke Jacket, Lee Nobody. Everybody's in the house. We are ready to rock. Please hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Please hit the like button, hit the bell icon. You'll be notified when we're going to go live next. Apple, Spotify, Amazon, anywhere you go find your podcast on audio, go find us there. Hit subscribe as well. We would really, really appreciate you doing that. Producer Scott in the house.
Yo.
What's going on, Scott?
A much better state of health that even I was at the preview, and especially compared to how I was feeling last Sunday. Complete turnaround. Decent weekend. Beautiful weather outside. Happy to talk some ball with you people.
Hell yeah. How'd the Blue Hens do this weekend?
They were on bye.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Don't you worry, baby. I would have talked about them.
No stress. No stress. Love that.
Roll Hens.
Mike, you want to do a Rhoback rapid recap?
Speaking of the Hens, they're sneaky good. They won their last game against FIU, one of those Florida teams.
They're not bad.
Are they allowed to go bowling?
No, they're not.
Lame. They're gonna have enough wins to get there.
Dumbest rule. We have a lot of dumb ones. That one's up there.
Yeah. This is year 2 of the transition or whatever. So like they can't go bowling until next year.
Yeah. In a sport that is rife with stupid rules, that is up there amongst them.
Just like they weren't eligible for the FCS playoffs last year when they probably could have been a contender-ish in the FCS.
Yeah. I'll give them that. All right. Well, on that note, Rhoback rapid recap time.
Let's do it.
Use promo code GOACC20 at checkout for 20% off your first order at Rhoback.com. All sorts of fantastic performance wear, athleisure wear, polos, hoodies, t-shirts. They got shorts, joggers, hats, like all sorts of things at Rhoback.com. The game day collection, especially, is something you'll be interested in. Most of the ACC has their gear on there. Yep. So go check them out. Once again, Rhoback.com. Use promo code GOACC20 at checkout for 20% off your first order. We're getting real close to quarter zip season too, by the way, which I've got a couple of and I love. So highly recommended.
They have great stuff.
There you go. Go get it.
There's a rumor down the pipeline that I have a Rhoback gift in the wings for my birthday in a few weeks. So
Hello.
Oh,
adds to the collection.
Do a little unboxing here on the show.
I think it's already been unboxed, but sure, I'll do that in 2 weeks. Sure.
There you go. We'll put on a show for the people.
Pretend it's the first time you're opening it.
Producer Scott getting dressed, give the people what they want.
Nope, not that. Nope.
On that note, 10 minutes are on the clock, Scott.
Subscribe to our OnlyFans, at BC Podcast ACC.
I thought Twitch was the final frontier.
No.
Anyways, we're 5 minutes in and we're already in good shape here. All right,
this is gonna be good tonight. I can feel it.
10 minutes on the clock. Rhoback rapid recap in 3, 2, 1. Friday night, Virginia 46, the number 8 Florida State Seminoles 38 in double overtime. What an absolute scene in Scott Stadium. What a performance from Virginia, and especially from Chandler Morris. I don't know why that name was escaping me. Absolutely bananas weeknight game. Perfect ACC game yet again. Almost 1,000 yards in offense in this game. This game just kind of had everything, Mike. This was a ton of fun, and what an enormous win for Virginia here early in the season.
A game of absolute swings. Virginia jumping out early. Florida State getting themselves back into it, forcing back-to-back turnovers on defense. Wild swings back and forth the entire game. Second half was extremely spicy. Mm-hmm. It took Castellanos a prayer throw at the end of regulation for a touchdown to really bail out some poor play calling, I thought, from Malzahn on that drive. An astonishing win for Virginia. Astonishing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and a bit of a tough scene for Florida State, I would say. I mean, scoring 38 points against this Virginia defense, pretty good, but you kind of came to expect a little bit more from a Florida State offense that had looked really hot the last couple games they'd been out, and put up 31 on Alabama, by the way, in week 1. They had problems. They turned it over 3 times, couple interceptions from Thomas Castellanos. So this was a clear look-ahead spot, and we knew that going on the road on a weeknight in front of a raucous crowd, like it was always going to be a tricky spot for Florida State. But this is, for a team that was a top 10 team and was quickly starting to get some playoff aspirations, this is not what you needed for your resume.
Especially considering that you have a game against Miami coming up here, and I don't know. One way to get the fan base to turn on you is to lose a game at home to Miami after losing a game that you probably shouldn't have lost to Virginia. Mm-hmm. So I wrote about this in my column. Little shameless plug here.
Yeah.
The seat will warm up quickly for Norvell is what I wrote last night because of the circumstances of the schedule. And man, you cannot lose that game to UVA. Virginia, all the credit in the world. We'll get into that in a few minutes.
Yep.
I need to eat some crow in particular in regard to this game. So I will, but yeah.
This is we've got 7 games to talk about here, Mike. This is going to be a long one. So just buckle up. Speaking of which, on Saturday, Georgia Tech 30, Wake Forest 29 in overtime, a game that I have a lot of opinions and thoughts on. Let's start with this. Wake Forest deserved to win this game, and I am heartbroken for them, and it sucks for them and for their fan base that they have to take the loss here on multiple levels, we'll say. There was some controversy here, really kind of going both ways, I would say. Like major calls that really could have gone the other way and would have benefited the other team that did not, that impacted the outcome in some way or another. Wake looked good. They came off a bye week playing energetic, and they played well. I thought they did a great job schematically, especially on defense. Really bottled up Georgia Tech's run game for most of this game. Haynes King was kind of the only thing Georgia Tech had in the run game, and even then that was pretty laboring a lot of the times, I would say. Georgia Tech very lucky to win this game, if I'm being honest, and probably should not have. Yeah. I think I saw SP Plus this morning said 23% post-game win expectancy or something here for Georgia Tech. Yeah, Wake deserved to win this game, full stop, and it sucks for them and for their fans that they didn't. And whatever you say about the refs screwed them and they should have gotten the win here, I'm not going to argue that. Yeah. I won't argue with you on it.
Yeah. Not an ideal set of circumstances from an officiating standpoint in this game. And there's a lot of that in the ACC this week. It's becoming a running theme, some poor officiated games. Was not impressed with Georgia Tech. This is not how you want to follow up a really, really good stretch of football you've been playing. And this was a Brent Key special. This is what he does, man. And I think Georgia Tech was really fortunate. This probably should have ended up like some of the other games he's lost during his tenure so far, where Georgia Tech's played down to their competition. That was my takeaway from this. So,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, a lot of things. We'll get to that. We'll spend some time on that game as well. Duke 38, Syracuse 3. Yeah, this was never really going to happen. It didn't seem like.
Bang, bang, bang! You're dead.
Yeah, not
So
great for
bad.
Syracuse. -3 in turnovers. They weren't ready for this particular moment. Again, I think Duke's defense in particular was kind of the difference maker here with Ricky Collins behind center for the Orange.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out if this was a get right game for Duke or if this was simply Syracuse, what they're going to be the rest of the year with their backup quarterback.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, Duke avoided turnovers. And this is what we said, right? That Illinois team that just got blown out last week by Indiana was kind of unimpressive beating Duke, but Duke just shot themselves in the foot with penalties and turnovers, right? And then Duke didn't look great the following week against somebody. I forget who it was off the top of my head. This game, no turnovers, 9 penalties for 105 yards.
Mhm.
So it's still
NC
not
State.
the NC State. There you go. It's still not the most disciplined operation for Duke right now. But when it's cleaner than it was, they put up
sorry.
500 yards.
You're
of
thinking of
offense.
Tulane. My bad.
Tulane. That's right. That's right. They lost to Tulane as well. Yeah, you're right.
Yep.
500 yards of offense and 38 points and held Syracuse to a field goal the whole game. Like Duke might have some potential if they could just keep, clean it up.
Yeah, they might. I mean, we'll see. I think out of the teams that have kind of gotten up to an up and down start, I think Duke's the one you look at where it's like, all right, well, they've done some things to themselves that have put them in some tough situations. So
yeah,
we'd evaluate that more.
Yep, for sure. Louisville 34, Pitt 27. Pitt got out to a big lead in this game. It was 17-0 in the first quarter, and Louisville just looked dead to rights. And then this thing got pretty wonky in the second half. Louisville ends up pulling out the win. I wonder a little bit where we're at with Pittsburgh and the fans and the coaching staff. Like, this is a bit of a tough loss to swallow for that fan base.
Really sad not to cover. Really, really sad.
I mean, just absurd that they didn't cover here, really.
Yeah.
With how it began, even how it looked at parts. I mean, we'll get into the wonkiness of the second half, but even how it looked in like sections of the second half, I'm like, okay, we're cruising to a cover here.
Yeah, yeah. Quarterback play on both sides, something else that we can talk about because it was very up and down, I would say, for both of these guys.
Yes. And has
Cal, yeah, it has been. And that's what both sides really got to clean up and figure out. Cal 28, Boston College 24, another comeback effort. Boston College went up 14-0 in this game, and then it was 28-10 Cal from there. Cal scores a touchdown with about a minute and a half left to take the lead and ultimately win this game.
Mm-hmm.
Boston College, though, driving down the field, and Dylan Lonergan threw a pass in the red zone. I don't know really what he saw or what throw he thought he could make, but I texted you, like, if there's not a defense on the field, if they just got raptured somewhere in the middle of that play, that pass wasn't complete anyways. Like, it wasn't thrown to anybody, and sure enough, it gets thrown into the gut of a Cal defender, and that was that.
Obviously, this was in the 3:30 window. I sent a text message, or I'm sorry, I sent a Slack message to the folks at SI, and I got a reply from one of the guys saying, Mike, you're not going to make me watch this game. From a Syracuse grad, no less.
Yeah. Yep. Virginia Tech 23, NC State 21. Hokies on the board. ACC play.
Buddy. Yeah, buddy. Dave Doran, you are in some serious shit, buddy. Cannot lose this one.
Yeah. I mean, I would put him a little bit in that Narduzzi category of, like, I don't know realistically how hot the water ever actually is there for them at this point in their career and their tenure, but, like, you could definitely see the fan base getting a little antsy and a little uncomfortable with this at this point. Like, that's also a tough loss and a tough scene to lose that game in that spot at home to this Hokies team. Yeah.
It was good. Feels good beyond the board.
Yeah. Really good showing from the Hokies defense, by the way.
Yeah, they were good.
18 seconds. Stanford 30, San Jose State 29. How
What
on
a
earth
game.
did Stanford pull this out at the end? Like,
Wild game.
Our guy Branson threw for damn near 500 yards.
What on earth? What is happening with Stanford? I don't understand this team at all.
We will not speak of the unders that I bet in the Sickos segment. They will not be discussed.
Yeah.
Time's up.
Yeah. That's your Rhoback Rapid Recap. Once again, use promo code GOACC20 at checkout for 20% off your first order for all things wonderful performance and athleisure wear. Highly recommended.
Love it.
Yes.
Buy it. Use the code. Thank you.
Let's do it. Mike, where do we start?
There's only one place to start. Virginia 46, Florida State 38. I need to eat some crow. I said there was no way that Virginia was going to hang up front. I was wrong.
Yeah.
Now, defensively, they didn't really hang. But
Right.
that was to be expected. I didn't come into this thinking Virginia was going to get a bunch of stops. I did think they were going to have trouble with Florida State's pass rush. They did not. They looked explosive offensively, passing the ball, timely runs, very, very good showing. There's a lot to talk about here. So I guess the first thing is that Florida State had a legitimate chance to win this game late, and they just fumbled. They just fumbled around. Like, the Malzahn play calling, I thought in totality was pretty good, but I thought there were some moments in this game where I'm like, man, you probably shouldn't have run that there. In particular, the fourth quarter drive to tie the game, when I don't know what the plan was, but you put Castellanos in a hell of a spot there on fourth down to have to make like literally the throw of his life. Like, he doesn't make those types of throws. We've been watching him for years now. He doesn't make those throws.
Yeah.
And he made literally the throw of his life to the front pylon of the end zone to get this game to overtime. And to be honest with you, he bailed out Malzahn there, I thought. So that was really impressive. I thought Castellanos was kind of in hell a bit. It doesn't reflect that way in the stat sheet, but there were several times where he was running for his life and really had to just make a play. That was particularly the case in overtime. So I was really impressed with Virginia. Chandler Morris, I tweeted during the game, he's like 150% of Calandria. Like, it's just Calandria on steroids, and it's the gunslinger mentality, and he is just a lot of fun to watch. This offense is really humming with him at quarterback. He's kind of been the piece that's missing. Virginia's got some playmakers, man. Like, offensively, they have found something in the running game. They've found something, multiple receivers. I mean, they got playmakers on offense. They're going to be a tough out because of how they can score the football. And I come away really, really impressed by Virginia's offense because we saw it against a Florida State defense that I thought coming in was very good. So the fact that and that doesn't mean that they aren't, by the way. They could be very good the rest of the season. This could just reflect more highly on Virginia's offense than it does reflect poorly on Florida State's defense. So really impressed with Virginia, and I have to eat crow there. Real quick, a pivot to Florida State. You cannot lose this game. This was the trap game of the year. We talked about in the preview. It seemed like a really popular bet. For one of my locks this week was Florida State to cover. We both liked the over. We got there with ease. That was never in doubt. We all bet the wrong thing there. You didn't. I did. But I just come away from this from Norvell's standpoint, and I'm like, man, listen, you built up a bunch of goodwill by beating Alabama in that opener in Tallahassee. That is aging great, by the way. Alabama beats Georgia on Saturday night and looks really convincing doing it, despite what the final score says. They looked like the better team for 4 quarters. That win is aging beautifully. So you should be able to handle, I understand it's a plucky, good Virginia team, but with your athletes, you have no business losing this game with who you are running out on the field from a personnel standpoint. You were outcoached. Norvell was outcoached in this game. Florida State was outclassed offensive. It was insane what Virginia was doing on the offensive side of the ball to Florida State's defense. They were outclassed. It made no sense to me that Florida State could not get a stop against this Virginia offense with the athletes that they have on the field. This is a problem for Norvell. And it may take some time for it to materialize, but we talked about the 2-10 season coming off of what they did 2 years ago and how they were able to win that ACC title with a backup quarterback and everybody hurt. And you come out last year, you lay an egg with your portal class, you go 2-10. There's no way it should have been that bad.
Mm-hmm.
And then just the swings of emotion to beat Alabama and look like you were a legitimate ACC title contender, which I contend they still probably are, right? But then to come out and lose this game like that, and then now have to welcome Miami, right, to Tallahassee in a game, by the way, Miami's been resting. They didn't even play this week. And you were in double overtime against Virginia on the road in an absolute hell game in Charlottesville that you end up losing. And now you got to get up for this game against Miami, man. I don't know. And how are the fans at Florida State going to feel if you beat Alabama in the opener and you still end up with 2 losses after the first week of October? Like, how's that going? How's that going to look to that fan base after going 2-10 last year? I don't know. That probably not very good.
I'm with you. Like, I almost don't even know what to do with the results so far if you're Florida State. Like, and there's probably a bigger conversation to be had about, to some degree, parity within the ACC, but also like parity within college football in general. Because, like, again, you saw Florida State basically control the game from start to finish with Alabama, an Alabama team that then turned around and just went into Athens and beat Georgia. Like, is Florida State good? Did they have a good day? Like, and somebody mentioned, by the way, I think now does Old Dominion have a transitive win over Georgia? I believe. I think I saw that somewhere.
Sounds right.
Want to talk about Virginia Tech's transitive wins?
Oh yeah, because Old Dominion beat Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech beat NC State. NC State beat Duke. I don't remember what it was, but you know, it's a weird time. But I will say. So one of the things I do sometimes is after these games all end, I go back and I listen to parts of our preview to see, like, wait, what were we saying? What did we think was going to happen? And make sure, I didn't, totally misrepresent something. I believe I said something like, I expect Florida State to get into the upper 30s here in points. That's exactly what happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I acknowledge, like, Virginia's offense has been good. What I was shocked by is that they let Virginia get this far into the 30s and even into the 40s in points. I think this is on Florida State's defense as much as anything.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was a little sloppy. There were a few effort issues at times. I mean, it was a little bit of everything. But Florida State's defense is really where I was most disappointed here in the effort for the Noles. And again, credit to Virginia, because that offense, and Chandler Morris played, game of his life level stuff. Like, he played his tail off here. Scored 5 of the 6 touchdowns that the Hoos scored. Really impressed with the way that he played. Virginia absolutely stepped up to the moment here. And the defense got just enough stops, did just enough. I don't have a ton to say here. Just really impressed with Virginia making the most of the moment here, and doing what they were able to do. And taking advantage. I mean, again, you had a hot crowd. The field storming, maybe we can talk about that for a second, was like,
bro.
I really try not to be I really try not to be old man yells at cloud like it's dangerous to storm the field or to storm the court. It's generally not that bad. But this particular one, where was it Squirrel White, I think, was the Florida State receiver who had just dropped, the 4th down pass that ended the game.
It was intercepted.
He's like, oh, that's right. Yeah. He's on his back in the corner of the end zone, about 6 feet away from this mass of people that, in less than a second, basically start just, having at it. And it certainly looked like a Mufasa and the antelope kind of situation.
It wasn't good.
Yeah. I mean, that's a great analogy, Joey. I don't know if you've ever been to Scott Stadium in Charlottesville, Joey. I don't know if you have, but like their student section is just literally, it's just a hill. Like, you walk out of the end zone and walk up grass, and that's it. Like, so they were on there in a second, and it was wild. Like, that one dude, there's some screenshots that there have been photos from photographers that I was looking at today for the thumbnail. And these kids are ripping it out there. Like the guy's not even getting up off the ground, and there's a dude on the 20-yard line. Like, it is wild.
Yeah, they wasted no time. Hey, by the way, I think Deuce Robinson is still bobbling that ball, by the way.
Yeah.
What the hell was that? He was so afraid to get hit by UVA safety. Did
you think that was a touchdown on replay?
No, I did not. I didn't think. I mean, he was still. You can slow it down, and when you slow it down, it looks like, all right, right before he hits that back boundary, it looks like he's starting to retain possession. But man, I don't see how you can. There was a point in time though where I texted you guys. I was like, "Are we just gonna rule this like inconclusive and just keep it a touchdown? Like, what are we doing?"
Yeah, just move on. Yeah.
A great throw by Castellanos, I thought was pretty good, and that was a very, very good throw. Just
it's on the money.
Latest in a series of good throws he made down the stretch in this game. I mean, he made several, but yeah.
And Deuce Robinson got to catch that ball. Something else that got brought up, our guy Ricky was in the comments. By the way, for the record, this didn't end up mattering, but for the people listening on audio, important note for the UVA win, refs reset the play clock in double overtime when Tony Elliott sent the field goal team out when he only needed to go when he had to go for 2.
Yeah.
So Virginia gets the ball to start the second overtime. They go in, they score a touchdown. And the PAT team runs out there. I don't know if they were sent out there. I don't know, if they just did it, like, who knows, but they all run out there and the refs are like, whoa. Like, you can't, but in stopping it and kind of clarifying the situation, they reset the play clock. Yeah. It's like, it's not Florida State's fault that Virginia doesn't know the rule that you got to go for 2 here. Like, I hate this overtime format that we've condensed it down.
It's so dumb.
It's so bad, but
player safety though, right?
But you have to know the rules. And if you don't, you can get penalized for it. Like, is what it is.
I watched that. I watched that targeting that wasn't targeting in the Oregon Penn State game last night. And okay, fine, right? Okay, it's a runner and he's got to be, the crown of the helmet. Whatever.
Yeah.
I look at the rules for overtime, which were supposed to be rooted in player safety. We don't want this to go along longer than it has to, right? So now we're doing this like 2-point shootout bullshit. And I think about that was rooted in player safety. And then I think about, we were texting about this, right? Like, what is targeting, right? The 3 of us were texting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like you said, Joey, there's probably a handful of plays you see per year that are actually malicious, like intent of the rule.
I was probably generous saying it's 10% of the calls.
The rest of it is like, okay, that was just a football play that it's unfortunate that it happened that way, but it wasn't like an intentionally dangerous hit. It's like, all right, a receiver like ducked his head and then the DB's flying at 1,000 miles per hour to make a tackle and he happens to contact him with the crown of the helmet. It's like that.
Yeah.
We're not out here launching, or we're not going full Sean Taylor on that punter in the Pro Bowl 20 years ago, right? Like,
yeah,
it's just
the head was clean
stuff,
too.
It was. Targeting stuff's just so dumb, and so I think about that in coinciding with the overtime rules, and I agree with you. I'm so sick of that shit.
Yeah.
Anyway,
can I circle back to one thing about the what our comment from Ricky said about the point after team being sent out? The broadcast said that Tony Elliott thought it was the 3rd overtime, which makes even less sense because brother just ran multiple plays to score.
Yeah.
We're not doing 2-point palooza. Like, what? So I don't understand.
I don't remember. Was it this game? There might have even been another game yesterday that we were texting back and forth. And I said something to the effect of like, it drives me insane that so many of these people on both sidelines basically dedicate their lives to being good at this game.
Oh, yeah.
And you still get moments where like an NFL regular season game ends in a tie and you get players in the post-game conference that are like, I didn't know you could end in a tie. It's like, how did you not know that? But I did. Like, I'm just some schmuck on YouTube right now. Like,
yeah. That was when we were talking about how the Oregon quarterback tried to defer when he won the toss in overtime.
Yes. Yeah, Dante Moore.
And
tried
like
to
the
defer,
ref had literally
yeah.
just explained that he could not defer like 1 second before that.
Yeah.
And I was just like, how are you deferring? This referee just told you couldn't. So yeah, that's why you said that.
Odd time for a freshman moment. But you know, they all count.
Yes.
Last thing I have on this before we move on. Devin Hamilton makes a good point. Virginia has a realistic path to Charlotte right now. Now, again, this goes a little bit into the ACC is just kind of a big pile of mush, I think, for the middle 14 or so teams. Stanford might be joining that, and I don't even know what the bottom end is at this point. But if you look at what Virginia has left on their schedule in conference play, they're one of only 4 teams in the ACC that are ranked right now. They don't have a single ranked team left on the schedule. At Louisville, and I'll just go conference schedule here. At Louisville, at North Carolina, at Cal, Wake, at Duke, Virginia Tech. Now, that is a lot of road games and a number of prickly teams, Louisville, Cal, Wake, even Wake, hell, Duke, and Virginia Tech. Who knows?
I forgot about that random Washington State game.
Yeah, exactly.
I
Wazoo.
totally forgot about that.
Sure. They get whatever's left of the Cougs.
They're bad.
But I mean, there's not a game on there that you would say like, oh, Virginia can't win that, or they'll be a significant underdog in that game. Like what I'm seeing right now, all of those will at least be close spreads. You might be favored in most of them. I don't know. Like path is there for Virginia and for a number of other teams too. Like this is just kind of where we're at with the ACC right now.
Virginia's catching a touchdown at Louisville next Saturday.
Virginia's awesome.
Thank you, Scott. Good timing on that one. Thank you.
Mike, have we ever talked about letdown spots on this show?
A few times.
Because you want to know the definition of a letdown spot?
Going on the road after a big win.
Let me guess. That game's at noon. Oh, no, it's at 2:30. Okay. Or 3:30. Sorry. So if that was a nooner, ooh, buddy, lay him with the Cardinals.
Lay him. Yeah.
But, I don't know. We'll see. It's all right there.
Might be laying him anyway, truthfully. No disrespect. No disrespect.
Actual last thing. Devin Hamilton really having to eat my comments about Tony Elliott. I think we all are, honestly.
Yeah.
I think I texted a week or two ago. It was like, if you had told me 2 years ago that Tony Elliott would be the head coach at Virginia longer than Brent Pry was the head coach at Virginia Tech, I would have wondered what the hell happened, because just not a chance.
Imagine saying that right after the Military Bowl 2 years ago.
Yep.
Oh, man.
And yet, here we are.
I really think that multi-million-dollar gift that came in at the end of the season last year for Virginia is helping them out too.
Not a bad portal class, I would say.
Yeah.
The portal's been good to them so far.
And Justin Ferber, a good friend of the show, even said that in you guys' mid-season or off-season recap and for the preseason preview. He was like, without that gift, like we don't get some of these guys. So
exactly. Exactly.
Paying off.
Virginia 46, number 8 Florida State 38 in double overtime Friday night. I have a whole other rant, by the way. I had a tweet that went viral following this game, but we're kind of running along already. So
no, you were right, by the way.
We got time at the end. We can get into that because it actually taught me some things. Maybe that's a little spoiler or teaser for if we get to it later. We'll get there.
God. Okay. Let's talk about your team now.
Georgia Tech, the number 16 Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets 30, Wake Forest 29 in overtime. As I said off the top, Wake Forest deserved to win this game. They came off a bye week. They looked a lot more interested in playing this game at a lot of points. They were sharper. They had a good game plan. I thought, especially on defense, I thought that Georgia Tech did a poor job of adjusting until it was almost too late, basically in the second half. Credit to Wake Forest, because that's a team that, again, in year one, trying to put it together, and they did everything that they could and damn near pulled this game off. They deserve to win. Georgia Tech lucky to win here. I'll take lucky. Georgia Tech doesn't get lucky all that often, but I'll take lucky in this case. But this is one of those. I really want to start by giving Wake Forest their flowers. Robbie Ashford had a really gutsy performance here. Throwing the ball, like the stat line doesn't look great, but some of the throws that he did make were huge chunk plays that flipped the field, set up Wake to score points in a number of different drives that they were on. So credit to him for that. He also went out early in the third quarter with a knee injury. He did come back in like a couple drives later for the Deacs and finish the game, but was obviously a lot less mobile than he was in the first half.
Yep.
Damon Claiborne, that's what I remember from Damon Claiborne. That's the guy that I remember watching the last year or two there at Wake. He had a great performance, a great afternoon. Georgia Tech did an awful job trying to tackle him. He didn't make it easy on them at all. Wake, if you say that you got screwed and you deserve to win, I'm not going to tell you you're wrong. I will not tell you you're wrong. And this one was a struggle to watch for a Georgia Tech fan. And I just, the sense of relief when this game ended and Tech had one more point than Wake did was something, really something.
Shout out Justin Brown. First time listening to a live stream. Only takes my 5-month-old still being up. Yep. Can relate.
That boy. All of us can. We've all been there.
All been there. Welcome to the live stream. Thank you for listening. Does this say more about Georgia Tech or Wake Forest to you?
I think Wake Forest.
Okay.
So like looking back on this, diagnosing it a little bit, Wake coming off a bye, they had a little bit of time. I think they sorted some things out. They looked better than they looked before the bye.
Mm-hmm.
This is also the 5th straight game that Georgia Tech has played. I think that there is some fatigue setting in there. I mean, the first half, they looked so slow on, especially on offense. The defense, looked pretty well, pretty good for the first like 20-ish minutes. And then they started having some losses. So I think I don't feel worse about Georgia Tech coming out of this game. I'll put it that way. I do feel better about Wake Forest coming out. They're going to knock off a couple teams in the ACC, and they might find a way to make a bowl game, even with, again, the personnel situation being where it's at.
That would surprise me a little bit. I do think they played their best game of the season yesterday. I thought they looked really good. Coming off a bye, I think there's some truth to that. I don't think you should feel any worse about Georgia Tech because you're a realist about this team. This is kind of what they are under Brent Key. I mentioned this in the rapid recap, but this is kind of what they do, right? They win a big game and then they get into a game, and a lot of this is just like the ACC also, but you get into a game that you should win and you kind of play with your food a little bit and you get yourself in a precarious situation where an official is deciding whether or not you win the game, right? Because that's what happened. I mean, there were missed calls on both sides during this game, but the missed offsides call looms obviously very large here. I think that Georgia Tech will be fine. A couple things concern me. Obviously, Jamal Haynes and his health, because he did not look right. Some rumblings about an injury before the game or during the week or something, but he didn't look right. Georgia Tech was running the Haynes King offense that they run when they're playing top-notch competition. And that concerns me a little bit because if Haynes isn't right, are you just going to resort to the Haynes King running game? And is that sustainable for the final 7 games of the season? That is a concern that I have moving forward for Georgia Tech. That's kind of like a macro thing. We have noted on this podcast that Haynes King runs the ball a lot more in big games. The fact you had to go to this here in game 5 against a Wake Forest team that I don't think any of us think is that good concerns me. All that to say, Wake Forest played their best game of the season, but that is a bigger question I have. Secondarily, thought the Georgia Tech defense was a little spotty, right? Which has been a thing this year. We've watched these games. This is kind of, they go through stretches where they're really, really good. Then they go through stretches where they're giving up chunk plays. You're like, is that the same defense I just watched on the last possession? Like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
And you saw that in this game. You mentioned the Robbie Ashford stat line being a little misleading because, yes, there were some chunk plays in the passing game. 3 different passes of over 35 yards, some big-time throws that he made in this game. And you want to try to have an answer for Robbie Ashford, who's not very good, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's another concern I have. But all that to say, you win your clunkers, right?
Yeah.
This was a clunker. You won it. This is a game where a Brent Key coach team in the past would have played 4 quarters. It wouldn't have looked very good, and they would have lost this game.
Yeah.
You found a way to win it, right? Overtime, coin flip, got the stop on the 2-point conversion. Great. Move on.
Yeah.
Totally good. Going into a bye, right?
Yeah.
So, okay. Get healthy. Virginia Tech in a couple weeks. That team's not very good either. Try to win that game at home.
Yeah. Anthony Manzano in the comments, this game's more of an indictment on Georgia Tech than how well Wake Forest played, because Georgia Tech shouldn't have let Wake Forest in the game from the beginning. Again, I don't want to take anything away from Wake Forest. They played hard. They had a lot of energy from the beginning.
Yep.
I thought Wake Forest had a really good game plan. I mean, defensively, they basically didn't have anybody more than like 10 yards off the line of scrimmage. They were dedicated to stopping the run. And Georgia Tech was, Haynes King having 42 passing attempts in this game. Like, thinking back on it, how many did he throw like behind the line of scrimmage or within 5 yards of the line? Like, it was just underneath stuff left and right. If and when he was throwing it, it wasn't until the second half that they did start to kind of push it down the field a little bit. And that's when you saw him start to pick up a bunch of yards.
Yeah.
Like, they waited a long time to adjust because Wake was selling out to stop the run, and they were succeeding at it. And it was only the only way that it seemed like this could succeed was either A, the Haynes King run game, which you don't want to press that button too many times, realizing you're not even halfway through the season yet.
Yep.
And the passing game, which, anything downfield. And I realized that Haynes King, the weak point of his game is going to be deep ball accuracy. And obviously those are tougher throws than any other that you make, probably, but he's not that great at it, just from an accuracy standpoint and the arm strength standpoint.
Agree. Totally agree. Now, I look at the remaining schedule and I'm wondering how many defenses are going to be able to test Georgia Tech in that way, though, right? Where they make Haynes King beat them over the top. Like, Virginia Tech's defense, they played well on Saturday, but they've been very spotty. Duke is a well-coached defense under Diaz, but they've been very spotty this year so far. Syracuse. Just give up 38 points to Duke.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Mensa's good, man, but come on. NC State, bad defense. BC, mediocre defense. Pitt and Georgia at the end, like back to back. Pitt's defense, spotty yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get to that in a minute. And then Georgia, it's not like top 2 defense in the country, Georgia defensively. So, like, how many of these defenses are actually going to make you beat them over the top? 1, 2, 0? I know that's the question, right? My concern really is less about that. It's more about having to run Haynes King more than you want to. And then defensively, are you going to get enough stops? Because there are some offenses on the schedule still that can score some points.
Mm-hmm.
So that's more of where my concern lies for Georgia Tech. I think the offense will be fine. I don't think it's going to hold you back in any way. I don't think either one of us is saying that. But I think if you're talking about like the over-the-top passing game, I'm not sure they're going to be tested in that way the rest of the season.
Yeah. Some of those defenses have had games that they look pretty solid. So, we will see. The other thing I did want to mention was, and I tweeted something about this, I have not been impressed with Blake Gideon's game plans so far this year as the new defensive coordinator. 4 games against FCS competition. I think they've got 17 tackles for a loss in 4 games. That's not good. That's like outside the top 100 level of defensive havoc that you're creating. There's a lot of 4-man pressures, a lot of take all the time you need, a lot of taking bad angles to the quarterback, poor tackling, as guys start to get out the back door. Like, I mean, it was a bit of a calamity for a lot of this game on defense for Georgia Tech. And it's kind of a miracle that Wake only scored 29 points, 23 in regulation. Like, it really felt like we were, I was gripping, trying to will the team to make stops. Wake did have a missed field goal in here. It went off the post. There were opportunities that Wake had to score more than they did. Man, you need more from that defense though. Like the personnel is not going to be, they're never going to be a top 5 defense in the country level personnel, but I think that they've got some of the players to give you a little bit more than they've been giving you. 5 tackles for loss, 0 sacks in this game. And they've been playing this conservative, keep it all in front of you kind of defense, which I guess maybe that means you just give a bunch of yards and then play red zone roulette when you get down near the end zone. It's a little bit hard to watch.
My concerns on that side of the ball.
Yeah. Pass rush has been unimpressive this year.
Yeah.
I'll say that. Now, if you go look at the numbers and just see tackles for loss per game, they're actually top 30, but that's because they had 14 against Gardner-Webb. So
right, a little misleading.
Let's throw that one out and talk about the big boys that they've played in any remote sense of the word.
Yeah.
So didn't think it was the best coached game for Georgia Tech. They are lucky to win this game. Hate that Wake Forest lost this game. Full stop. But 5-0 is better than 4-1, I guess. And,
it is. Don't drop everything on the scorecard.
Yeah, everything's still in front of Georgia Tech, and they've got a bye week now, badly needed, I think. And everyone on that side basically agreed, pretty badly needed. So that'll help them moving forward. Last thing on this game, by the way, we saw something in this game that I think we all collectively enjoyed. Yes? Jake Dickert went for 2 at the end of the first overtime.
Where I was screaming for it over text.
Absolutely. I realized it didn't work. That was 1,000% the right call. Okay. And we continue to see this in big games week over week where games go to overtime and then somebody has a chance to go win the game on one play. They don't take it and then it costs them. Yeah. Last night, Oregon, Penn State, this came up again. And I don't know why people don't make a bigger deal out of it nationally.
You have to use starting in the second overtime, Mike Norvell, Tony Elliott, everybody.
Yeah.
Starting in the second overtime, it was Tony Elliott. You have to go for 2. So why not, when you're down by 1, go for 2 in the first overtime? You have the game in your hands. You have total control of the game. Go for 2. You're just delaying the inevitable for no reason.
Yep.
You're just delaying it, right?
Yeah.
You're not going to have that much control in most cases. You're not going to have that much control over the game again. So go for it.
Yeah.
It makes me from an analytics stand, and I'm not even a huge analytics guy, but that's a very obvious one to me. You go for it.
Yeah. 1,000%. And whether you get it or not is inconsequential.
Perfect from Lee Nobody.
Yeah.
Play to win the game. Don't extend a game with a chance to win it. Thank you.
End the game on your terms, the whole thing.
Right. Correct.
And now, in that moment, here's the one thing I will say. I was unimpressed with a lot of the coaching. I thought it was pretty bland, kind of on both sides of the ball from Georgia Tech. However, it came up in the post-game press conference that Brent Key mentioned. He's like, in the offseason, you pick and choose certain things to spend a lot of time on. We actually, one of the things we spent a lot of time on in the offseason was 2-point plays. Can't imagine why after, certain particular game endings last year. But they did a lot of work on 2-point plays. And he said that our film study said that a lot of what the tendency is here is going to be some kind of a rollout, sprint out, underneath kind of pass or a throwback. And to their credit, they had that very well defended.
Yep, they did.
They had everything defended and they covered it up properly. So give them absolute credit. And that's probably one of the reasons that you won the game is getting into that spot and having a good sense of what they were going to do. So credit to Brent Key and the coaching staff for figuring that out.
That's all I got.
Yep, I'm good here. Number 16, Georgia Tech 30, Wake Forest 29 in overtime.
Louisville 34, Pitt 27. All right.
Are either of these teams good?
Where do we want to start? Yeah. Okay. So where do we want to? Do we want to start there? Let's do a quick cheek. Let's do a quick cheeks watch. How we feeling?
Cheek check.
Yeah, a little cheek check. Nothing wrong with that. How are we feeling about
that? So I'll start with Louisville. Not cheeks. I do think the defense is good still. Had some moments here that weren't as pretty, but I think the defense is good. Miller Moss, some high highs and some low lows, we'll say, was pretty bad to begin this game. Figured it out somewhere in the middle. That's all fine. I think I had Pitt on Cheeks watch.
Do you have the bad cheek sound?
Oh, buddy.
So I'm in agreement.
My favorite time of the day.
There it is. That sounds so good. It's so funny. I agree with you on Pitt. Guys,
people reminded me that I forgot an ad read again.
Yeah, I know.
I'm good at this.
Yeah, it's okay. We'll get to it in a second.
We'll come back.
Good podcast. There's a lot going on tonight. There's a lot of games to talk about with a lot that happened.
Yeah.
I'm going to continue saying like the quiet part out loud about Pitt. This defense is not very good this year. I've been banging that drum, and it looked like they had some stuff figured out in the first half against Louisville, and then the Cards just totally flipped this game in the second half, and Pitt's defense no-showed.
Yep.
No-showed in the second half of this game.
Yeah.
This is going to be problematic for Pittsburgh, I think. And I don't want to take anything away from the Louisville comeback at all. It was impressive. I agree with you. I still think Louisville's pretty good. I think this was, again, a tough spot. Nooner at Pitt. We talked about on the preview. It's just a tough place to get up and go, right? And be ready to rock.
It's one of these NFL stadiums, right? That's like half full.
Yeah. But this Pitt defense, man, you're coming off a bye, and you still don't feel like you got anything figured out here. I don't know. I mean, when you started playing real competition, you started giving up a lot of points, and they started with Duquesne and Central Michigan. Shout out, sicko. A sicko pick that came home for me. Central Michigan. And
Young Flame here in sicko mode.
Thank you. I don't care. I'm a sicko. Perfect. Thank you, Scott, for that.
Can we tack that on to the end of the
yeah, can we? Can we?
I don't care.
I'm
a sicko.
Yeah, we might have to.
I can make that happen.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Yeah. I'll take y'all of 30 seconds to put together for us. I'm a little concerned about Pitt's defense because of who they have left on the schedule. Remember, they have a brutal ACC slate this year. Florida State is still on there. They have Notre Dame, Georgia Tech, and Miami to close. They have an NC State offense in there that is not bad. This could become pretty problematic for Pittsburgh to the point where I'm not sure they're going to make a bowl game. That's where I'm at with this defense. I'm worried about the explosive plays. They're not getting home to the quarterback. I got some serious concerns about this defense. That is my big picture takeaway from this football game.
I was just starting to wonder the same thing. And that West Virginia loss is costly here. That's the difference between 2-2 and 3-1 in a game, in a season where you needed to make a lot of hay in the front half. And Pitt's defense, by the way, not that great. Hasn't been that great for 2 or 3 years now. It's been a little bit. That's a concern for me if I'm a Pitt fan. And Dennis, I think, asked an important question. Has Eli Holstein improved? I would give that a pretty resounding no, personally.
Yeah, he's pretty average, I think.
Yeah.
No cheeks watch
for him. I don't know. I'm not gonna go full cheeks with
half cheek.
Half cheek?
Yeah, like, one cheek.
Is that like half chub?
Please.
It's very different.
We just wanted to use that drop. The rushing defense, I will say the rushing defense for Pitt is probably the best part of what they do. They did defend the run well in this game. And I think West Virginia ran for almost 200, but it was a volume thing in that one,
Yeah.
right? So I mean, they ran it a ton, and just West Virginia's just vertically challenged in passing games, so they just kind of have to run.
And Louisville's having a tough time running the ball this year, and I think some of that is defenses selling out and saying, "Hey, Miller Moss, you beat us," and sometimes he does, and sometimes he doesn't, and I mean, while we're on the soundboard,
Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit.
That's the Miller Moss experience, as far as I'm concerned.
I agree. I think that's the right way to attack Louisville's offense is they can beat you. Now, to his credit, when he needed to make the throws Saturday against Pitt, he did. Right. The second half was really impressive, and he ends up putting some pretty good passing numbers together because of the big second half they had. So, I'm big. The big picture is the Pitt defense, and I think Holstein's kind of average, and I'm not trying to incite panic in the Pitt fan base, but I would be very skeptical about the prospects of this team moving forward the rest of the season. Skeptical. Like, could it be as bad as 3-9 or 4-8?
Yeah. I don't know if I go there. I don't know that I won't, though. I don't know.
It's a tough schedule, Joey. And your layups are this BC game. Nooner. You got to win this one, man, because the way that the easy games set up are in between some pretty tough ones. So it's
well, and again, that final stretch, Notre Dame, Georgia Tech, Miami, man, you want to talk about a body blow situation. Like, hard to feel good about going into any of those games and winning them. I don't know. I'm a little bit. It's perplexing, this Pittsburgh offense situation, because I just think back to they started as hot as they did last year, 4 or 5 games in, and then it's like something snapped, and maybe a little bit was a Holstein injury situation was obviously in play, but like it was like teams got enough on film, and all of a sudden, what was just absolutely humming on offense didn't fully come to a screeching halt, but like kind of close to it. It was, neutered, we'll say. And I feel like that's a little bit of what we're seeing this year is teams kind of know how to defend it, and they know how to make Eli Holstein uncomfortable. And, it's just kind of a struggle. Like, everything is difficult for Pitt trying to move the ball and trying to score points. And that's kind of the same thing we've seen for a lot of the Pat Narduzzi tenure, save for a couple of specific coordinator situations and seasons. But like, I don't know. It's a tough product to watch at times when the offense is just having such a hard time getting out of second gear.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. And when your defense is just kind of average, this is what you kind of open yourself up to. If I put the win total, like the live win total, at 4.5, which I think is a pretty good number. What's your lean?
I go over.
Think?
I think they're in this ACC pile of mush, and almost every game's a coin flip for. I guess I'll take Florida State. Yeah, that's a Florida State game in Tallahassee. I'll take Florida State out of that. But I mean, could they beat Boston College, at Syracuse, NC State, at Stanford? They could go 4-0 in those 4 games. Sure, they could. Like, I don't see why not. So, if you set it at 5.5, I don't know what I would do. I'm not certain that they're going to a bowl game here, but it's weird times for Pitt.
I'm a little lower on them than you are, but I think this could be. If they don't clean this thing up defensively, this could be a disaster.
Yeah.
So, not good. Nice win for Louisville.
Yeah. I mean, a comeback effort again. Pitt was up 17-0 in the first quarter here. Like, Louisville had every reason to shut it down and say, screw this. I don't need this. But they found a way, and nearly tied it before halftime. And then Pitt scored and went up 27-17, and then Louisville shut them out in the second half. So Yeah, I mean that's a gutsy win for a Louisville team that I don't think this Louisville team is as good as last year's. I will say that. Miller Moss definitely not as good as Tyler Shuck, and I don't know if he's necessarily better than Jack Plummer was a couple of years ago. Like,
oh boy,
I'll have that conversation, but Lee nobody. Pitt's last 10 games are going to go 2-8. Yikes! That would, after they lost 7 straight or whatever it was to end last year, that would be a tough scene.
That
was Pitt, right?
Stats. Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see with Louisville. It's interesting to me that they're still not ranked. Like they're looked at as Louisville, like one of the best teams in the ACC, and they're 4-0 and all that, and not ranked. I wonder if that tells us anything.
Some games left of consequence.
Yep, that's for sure. Anything else in this game, Mike?
Oh, keep it moving.
Just a reminder that this recap and all recaps brought to you by section103.com, the internet's premier place for all things wonderful Georgia Tech, LSU, and Georgia Southern apparel. They've got t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, hats, things for men, women, children, babies, something for the whole family. Get it all at section103.com. Use promo code GOACC for 10% off your first order. They've got all sorts of things with the official Tech Gold, the official word mark. It's all officially licensed. Super high quality. I love mine. You will love yours. Keep an eye out, by the way. They've got some Halloween packages coming out. If you want to dress like a certain lucky head coach from this weekend, they've got packs of hats and hoodies that they're selling together. So go check it all out. Section103.com. Once again, use promo code GOACC at checkout for 10% off your first order. Lots of new things coming all the time. Shout out to Steven and the gang. Appreciate their support, as always, for the Basketball Conference podcast. And shout out to the commenters who help me to be a better podcaster every day and remembering to do my ad reads because, we're just a really highly organized and well-run operation. Producer Scott's even here, and we're still a total mess tonight. So that's, I don't know what to do about that.
Just because I'm here doesn't mean anything. I'm equally as disorganized.
Well, one of us.
Mike will be right back. Let's move on. Cal.
Yeah, that's where I was leaning. Yeah, Cal 28, Boston College 24. This is another a bit of a tough scene for Boston College here to lose this game. It just in the way that it happened. I'll start by saying Cal might be kind of frisky here. Like for a team that just got shut out by San Diego State, Cal might not be bad. They I don't know. That just might have been a freshman kind of situation for. I'm going to go with JKS. But
4 out of 10. Didn't even try. Yeah.
That's C's get degrees, man.
Ain't that the truth?
Boston College ran 14 offensive plays and was up 14-0 in this game in the first quarter. And it really just felt like, this is what we're going to do today. And then Cal had 2 more drives. That was 28 offensive plays, and it was 14-all. And now we're tied. And then Boston College kicks a field goal, has a small lead at the half. I guess the thing was to me with Boston College getting up 14-0, man, they gave that away real quick. And to then turn around and lose, I don't know. This would be a tough one to digest if I'm a Boston College fan on a few different levels.
Yeah. I think the expectation, right, coming into this game is, wow, Cal did what against San Diego State? And San Diego State just scored how many points this weekend?
Yeah.
Wasn't many, by the way.
Yeah.
It's like, man, Cal, that really was a clunker. Now, we did come out of that game, and we talked about it. Cal is probably not as bad as they looked last Saturday. That was kind of a comedy of errors, and it really kind of got away from them. For BC, this is a matter of, hey, man, we got to get this train back going in the right direction. We let Michigan State beat us twice, essentially, right? The defense no-showed against Stanford. And now you're in a spot with Cal coming to town, a Cal team that didn't score any points last week. and they come in and they have a decent amount of offensive success.
Mm-hmm.
I have some concerns. Speaking of defenses, I have concerns about Boston College's defense under Bill O'Brien. Again, a Cal offense that is exciting at times because JKS is fun, but it's not a spectacular unit. They've really struggled to run the ball at times this year.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. There were just stretches of this game where they really struggled to get stops. Kendrick Raphael had a nice game on the ground for Cal. The passing game, obviously, with JKS came through in the fourth quarter. So I just have some concerns if I'm Boston College's defense. I'm also starting to have some concerns about Dylan Lonergan in the passing game. Because he has started to put together a nice little trend of really like back-breaking interceptions.
Mm-hmm.
We could talk about that last one all we want, right? At the end of the game there, where it looked like BC was just going to put the ball in the end zone. That was going to be it, right? They're going to escape. And he threw the single dumbest interception I've ever seen. Like BC in position to win that game, plenty of time. Like
it was bad.
That was one of the worst decisions I saw of the weekend. But then, Drew Aller played and threw one of the dumbest interceptions I've ever seen a couple hours later. So that kind of stole the show this weekend, the biggest game. But yeah, the all-time dumb, late over the middle, behind your receiver, in triple coverage, just all-time stupid throw. I did not get it. It's not one of those where it's like, all right, he made a good throw. DB made a play, like give him credit. No, stupid. Like right in the middle of the linebacker's numbers.
Well, and it was second down.
No reason for it. Plenty of time. Just dumb.
Throw it out. If you don't have a receiver, throw it out of the back of the end zone. Like, yeah, the decision making on that was horrific.
Horrible.
That's the one that like you can't have that. You can't have it, and you'd gotten the ball all the way down to the 5-yard line. I mean, you are about to steal one. And you make that decision. That's, if you're a teammate of Dylan Lonergan, you're not going to be, especially not in the media, selling out your quarterback, saying stuff. But that is one of those, I'd imagine, if you're in the film room on Monday with anyone who was on the field at the time, or I mean, just watching that is like, oh, did you really make that throw? Like, that was a tough look. I don't know what to do with this Boston College team. They're 1-3. They're 0-2 in the ACC.
They're bailing on the run. They're bailing on the run for no reason. I see, Turbo Richards' numbers are really good because he had a 71-yard run, but it's not like they were bad before. He had 14 carries for 100 yards.
Yeah.
They're bailing, and they've gotten too pass happy. They bail on the run. The defense is mediocre. I'm starting to sell my Boston College stock too, I think.
This was off a bye, too.
Yeah, man. Starting to sell my BC stock in 2025, I think. Them and Pitt is where I come out the weekend. I'm just like shaking my head. And another team we'll talk about in a few minutes.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Tough scene for them. Cal, look, they didn't have almost any negative plays here created by their defense. But again, after giving up 14 points in the first 2 drives, they really held Boston College in check for the rest of the night here. And they got a couple of picks off of Lonergan. Obviously, the last one was pretty critical. But impressed with Cal. Like, quality-wise, they're not like a top 30 team, but they're doing enough. They're getting it done, aside from that one weird night in San Diego a week ago, which anybody's guess what happened there.
Yeah,
that's their only loss, and just looked nothing like anything else that they've done this season. So again, don't know what to do with that. They've got another game next week against Duke before they get to their first bye, by the way. So yeah, we'll see what that looks like, but that's Duke in Berkeley. So Duke gets to make the cross country trip. And I think that's a fascinating matchup. Honestly, those are two pretty prickly defensive, high ceiling kind of quarterback teams that could be a really, really fun matchup. So look forward to that one.
Opened with Duke as a 3.5-point road favorite. It's now at 2.5.
I was going to say that Sounds like a lot of points.
Mhm.
3.5 is a lot.
I mean, Duke shoots themselves in the foot at home. You think they won't do that on the road?
In Berkeley, in front of the Calgorithm, in the Black Bear section, or what was it we were calling it?
Yes, I think that's true.
The homeless Raiders fans, or the Raiders fans without. Anyways,
Yeah.
I don't have a whole lot else here.
I
Intrigued
don't
with
either.
Cal.
Go away. Sorry. Dog harassment.
Intrigued with Cal. Yeah. All right. Cal 28, Boston College 24. Two programs going in different directions right now, it seems like.
That's a fair way to say it.
Yeah.
All right. You know what? Let's do it. Virginia Tech 23, NC State 21. Let's do it. Hey, real quick, before we get into the Virginia Tech of it all, because I'm very happy about this, let's do a quick Cheeks watch on NC State. Joe, you got the bad cheek. Joe, you got the bad cheek sound for me? Yeah. NC State, buddy. I think they might be a little bad. What makes me say that? Well, Dave, in year 13, you cannot be losing to interim coach-led Virginia Tech at home under the lights.
Mm-hmm.
That same Virginia Tech team gave up 45 to Old Dominion 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm. Buddy,
you can't be doing that. Also, the NC State defense, man, not good. Like it's not good. I mean, if this Virginia Tech offense, if it was better, I mean, it could have hung 35, 40 points on NC State last night. This is a Virginia Tech offense that I think, for what it is at this point, played pretty well. Ran the ball well. I thought Drones had a pretty good game throwing the football. Offensive line, the healthiest offensive line Virginia Tech's put out on the field since the opener. So that obviously made a difference here.
Terrion Stewart was a man in this game.
Terrion Stewart was really, really good, man. We've seen glimpses of it the first few games, and Pry had said before he got fired that Stewart was pretty banged up, and then he mentioned his camp kind of being average. I was like, I don't care what his camp is. He's the most proven running back you have in the room that you're bringing in. He needs to get snaps, and I think Saturday night is why. And I think something that was pretty telling, Philip Montgomery, and Ricky's still listening, I meant to bring this up on the freaking tech pod we just recorded. Philip Montgomery brought up in this post game, he was asked, like, when did you realize Terrion Stewart was like this kind of player, like a legitimate player in your running back room? And he said this summer, which is not what you want to hear when Brent Pry saying he had an average fall camp.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, so now we're figuring out personnel. That's really good. But I think Tech's playing hard for Montgomery, and I think they are figuring some stuff out offensively, identity-wise. I think run the ball with Terrion Stewart. It's not going to be pretty. And your defense has been very up and down this year, but when it's been good, it's been pretty stifling at times. And I think CJ Bailey found that out on Saturday night. This was a remarkable win for Virginia Tech, man. A remarkable win. And
that sideline was like over the moon as that game went on.
Yeah.
They were having a blast over there.
I mean, this is they're playing hard. They're all in it together. There is a sense of, like, especially from Montgomery's standpoint and for a bunch of these players, it's like, all right, the guys that are here, right? The guys that are here, this is the team now. Like, opt-outs aside, like, this is, you guys are earning it in practice. You guys are going to play. And I think because of when they fired Pry, right? You had to because of just circumstances, but because of when they fired him, they had essentially a warm-up game against Wofford. And then I think in that locker room, you can sell, okay, hey, this is a new season. You know, ACC play starting, and let's turn the page, right? A lot of shit's gone down. Players opted out. Coach is gone. Like, a lot of things have changed.
Mm-hmm.
I've been here since early summer and now, or since the spring, and now I'm the interim. And I don't know where I'm going to be next year either. And let's just kind of rally together with who we have in the room and put our best foot forward for the next couple months. So I think at the very least, you're going to see a Virginia Tech team that I think is not going to have a ton of quit in it moving forward. It's hard to gauge that against a team like Wofford. But I'd been telling you guys, I thought Tech could score on NC State. They didn't score as much as I thought they could, but this Virginia Tech offense has been pretty bad this year, and this was the most competent they've looked, and leaves me with more questions about NC State than anything else, because Virginia Tech, they are what they are this year. Interim coach, week to week, it's going to be very up and down, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But this says more to me about NC State. Just some questions here about direction, and that fan base couldn't have been too happy with Dave Doran's answer about this Virginia Tech bunch being a good team. He mentioned that in the post game. I'm like, man, I don't think they are. Like,
they weren't that good against an okay South Carolina team. They weren't that good against a Vanderbilt team. Like,
yep, their Vanderbilt loss is going to end up aging really well potentially, and that's like the only one. South Carolina has been up and down. Old Dominion.
Yeah, yikes.
Come on, guys. I mean, come on, Doran. You can't seriously be selling that to your fan base, right?
Yep. I want to call this out, and I want to put it in a box a little bit because this needs to be mentioned.
Yes.
DJ Elliott, defensive coordinator for NC State, he did not coach in this game. We found out, I guess, on Saturday that his daughter passed away after a lengthy battle with cancer. Shout out to N. Dennis for reminding us to bring this up. Absolutely tragic situation. Hate that for him. Thoughts and prayers go out to him and his family. That is devastating. I mean, as a parent, I can't imagine, don't want to. So, again, thoughts and prayers, DJ Elliott, and going through that. Now, so he wasn't in the box for this game.
Mm-hmm.
So there is that, but this defensive output was really not that different from the games where he has been in the box. So that's all I want to say is, like, I don't think that that's the reason that they struggled here. So I just wanted to kind of call that out, is that that's going on, but I don't think that that's the reason that the Hokies racked up over 400 yards in this game. Right. Now, I also think Will Secor makes a good point. He thinks that Virginia Tech should be ranked. Mostly probably because they'll be in Atlanta here in a couple weeks, if I had to guess. And, Brent Key has a track record, as it were.
Yeah.
But, we'll see. I think you're probably right, Mike, that this Hokies team is probably pretty up and down the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Just some games will be good, some games will be bad. And, I don't think that a bowl game is in their future, but I guess stranger things have happened.
I think I said on my Tech pod, because we were making jokes about how they're tied atop the ACC standings. I think in a hard to reach goal that I think is good to shoot for is bowl eligibility, just with the way the schedule lays out, with Wake, which is a winnable game, Georgia Tech, which I don't think is too winnable, but they're very up and down game to game under Key. Mm-hmm. Cal is a wild card. Louisville has been a bit of a wild card so far. You still have Virginia at the end of the year, which I don't care what the records are until Virginia wins these games, right?
I'm noticing a pattern here, Mike. Like, every ACC team could win or lose every game every week.
You're right on the money, which is why saying that Virginia Tech could win 4 games, it seems crazy because of what we just watched a couple weeks ago against Old Dominion. And yet, if you put together competent performances like you did on Saturday, which is going to be probably a lot to ask week to week, obviously. Yep. But if you can put together competent performances, right, in your final 7 games, could you have an outside shot at bowl eligibility? Of course you could. Yeah. Because of what this conference is.
Anyone can compete. ACC. Anyone can
compete. There you go.
Anyone
can. Or alternatively, anyone could cover.
That's right. Sorry, I stole your thunder on that one, British Scott.
That's okay.
2 more things I want to bring up with this game, and then I'm good. Number one, I'm in a text thread with both of you and the Hokie Hangover guys, and I just want to bring up the fact that there was some chatter during at least the early parts of this game that the national people think Kyron Drones is a lot better than he is.
Yeah.
I think that that's true.
Yeah.
I think that Kyron Drones was pretty good a couple of years ago and has flatlined, if not gotten worse since then.
That is correct. Yeah.
I don't think that he's gotten better in 2 years. So
He is not.
Yeah, I think he's a recognizable name and figure on the field. I don't think that he is actually a superstar quarterback in the ACC. I'll say that. Other thing I wanted to bring up, and you kind of alluded to this, Mike, Carter Claiborne, Raleigh has reached concerning levels of toxic towards Dave Doran. So this is where I feel like it's an interesting kind of you got to distinguish between like the boosters and the power players versus the fans, because my understanding has always been, in Raleigh, Doran's been there for over a decade. He's won a ton of games. He's done so well there. Like all this stuff, like, they'll never fire Dave Doran the same way that Pitt will never fire Pat Narduzzi. However, fans have a much shorter memory than the people spending a lot of money to, fund the program. And all fans know is that this used to be a lot better. And the last couple of years, it has not been that good. Mm-hmm. And there's been some media spats where he has provided personal commentary on the quality of the fans and whether or not they show up and how they act at games and how late they stay and those kinds of things. And
that stuff starts to come back when you start losing games like this.
I think Carter is probably at least in the right neighborhood, if not spot on here, that boosters be damned. The rank and file fans at NC State seem a little restless. And I was seeing this, by the way, I think Obies and Giglio up there in the triangle, there's a little bit of that commentary going around last week before this game was played and before the Wolfpack lost this game. So I'm sure this didn't help anything along those lines.
No, you mentioned the whole thing about Doran winning a lot of games. He has. He's won 90 games at NC State. Mm-hmm. He's got 7 seasons. Let me double check that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. 7 seasons of 8 wins or more. And he's in year 13. He's won a lot at NC State.
Yeah.
He's gone 6-7 last year, right? And then now it's 3-2. And one of your losses is not looking particularly great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You consider how that opener went too, that you squeaked out against East Carolina.
Yep.
See, the fan bases don't forget that stuff, right? They see how this team is played in every single game, even your close wins, and that starts to be a mark on the resume rather than, oh, you won the game, right?
Right.
So,
all right, actual last thing. Lee Nobody nailed it. This is what happens on the CW.
Yep. Just want free money.
Yep. Virginia Tech 23, NC State 21. We good here?
We have 2 left, right? 2. Yep.
Couple of, well, I'll say couple blowouts. One blowout and one what the hell happened here game.
Let's do the one that was close.
Yeah. Stanford 30, San Jose State 29. A game that San Jose State had the lead by 8. I'm trying to remember. Hang on. Let me go find it.
Or more. I think more, right?
They were up by a lot here. But I'm saying they were up 8. They were up 29-21 after kicking a field goal with a little under 8 minutes to go.
Yep.
Stanford, 5 plays, 54 yards, and with about a little under 6 minutes to go, they kick a field goal, to which I believe producer Scott made the point, took a touchdown game and made it a touchdown game.
Yep, my favorite.
Nailed it. San Jose State, 7 plays, 22 yards, punt. Stanford, 12 plays, 80 yards, touchdown with 19 seconds left. And they end up taking the lead 30-29. That's the final score there. I don't know what this Stanford team is, man.
They're apparently passing the ball now. There were two big time chunk plays in those final 2 possessions, by the way. Mm-hmm. Gulbranson hit, it was like a 50-yard pass or something like that on the field goal drive, and then had a 35 or 40-yard pass on the game-winning touchdown drive. Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, we're like, all right, now we're explosive passing game Stanford out of absolute nowhere.
Yeah.
Gulbranson has seemed to figure things out. watching the fourth quarter last night as these other games the big games were getting crazy outside the ACC. I was like, is Gulbranson figuring, like, there's no way this is the same quarterback I watched play against Hawaii in week 0. I mean, this is mesmerizing to me.
I don't know. I do not know.
They didn't look, and Stanford, by the way, did not look like the better team for like 3.5 quarters of this game, by the way.
Walker Eggett for San Jose State, 473 for 3 touchdowns. Like, how do you lose that game?
Yeah, man.
I don't know. This is bizarre. Stanford, by the way, for all the talk about, well, they've got something going in the run game if they could just figure out a pass game. Mike, they did not have anything going in the run game.
Did not.
Stanford running backs, 22 carries for 64 yards. They did have 2 touchdowns, but like Kobe.
Yeah, big time Kobe.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Weird stuff happens on the West Coast. Yeah, this is a great comeback for Stanford. Credit to them for winning this game. They did. They did. But I don't know what to do with this team, man. Probably cheeks, but I don't know, figuring some things out. It is honest. I will say this. It is a good thing that Stanford won this game because I think it keeps the heat down on Frank Reich's seat. So
it's good.
He can sleep easy going into next week knowing that coming off a win.
I know that's a joke because there's literally no heat on Frank Reich at all because he literally doesn't want to coach the team. He's just doing his friend a favor. But what the hell?
Just trying to find ways to make this podcast take longer, Scott. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
I'm just sleepy. It's fine.
I know. Anything else here, Mike? I
had one go back actually from the Virginia Tech game, but you went too fast.
Oh, sorry.
Philip Montgomery is 1-0 in one-score games as Virginia Tech head coach.
Yes, he is.
Fantastic. Stanford 30, San Jose State 29. Last one, Duke 38, Syracuse 3. Not a lot to say here. Syracuse kicked a field goal on their second possession of this game, and they got shut out 35-0 from there. So not the best day from Ricky Collins. Like, not terrible, but not great. And again, Duke has had some pretty uneven performances at times, but today they were just the clear better team on the field.
Yeah, I don't know what to do with this. Because Syracuse was in a position where they had to start throwing a ton.
Yeah.
They did not run the ball very well in this game at all. And a lot of that was game script related, but when they tried to run it, it was not great. I think the passing game will probably continue to improve with Collins at quarterback. But I don't know if you're going to. I have a pretty good feeling you're probably not going to get to the Steve Angeli levels that you were getting in the first few weeks of the year. My concern coming out of this for Syracuse, obviously, is how they played defensively, which was shockingly bad, especially against the run. With how they've performed, how they've played here in the first month of the season, this was incredibly bad defensively, shockingly so. And is this kind of like the Cal version of like throw it out? Was it really like a 35-point? Like, are you going to lose that game by 35 points that many times? You know what I mean? So I am concerned about the defense a little bit after this performance, but I am wondering now, is there more of a onus put on that unit to play better moving forward? Obviously, having the backup quarterback in. So I have some questions, and I do feel like this was a bit of a get-right game for Duke. I mean, we talked about this in the rapid recap. They have not put together a series of clean games, you know? And they've found a way to do that here. Again, the penalties are kind of an issue still, but the last 2 weeks, they've stopped turning the ball over, which is crucial. And you're putting yourself in a position to obviously win games like this. But I mean, there's not much to say about a 35-point win. It's just, I was kind of shocked at the rollover of Syracuse's defense here.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, clearly, as we all know, Mike, Duke's offense is better than Clemson's. Things that would put you in an insane asylum 10 years ago, but
or in the preseason even.
Yeah, exactly. I will say again, there was an interception here from Ricky Collins, but Syracuse also had a pair of lost fumbles from Jonte Cook that didn't help the cause at all. So not like Collins was really the only issue here. And as mentioned, I mean, the run game was not great for Syracuse here. Trying to isolate for the running backs. What is this? 22 for, 80 or 93 maybe. Like, not terrible, but not great. They did have one kind of lengthy carry from Yassine Willis there, but I mean, clearly the defensive game plan here for Duke was make the new quarterback beat us. And, that obviously wasn't really going to happen in this spot. So credit to Duke. Good win for them. Syracuse, again, trajectory of your season just completely turns on its head when your quarterback goes down with an Achilles early, and you got to figure it out from there. Collins a talented guy, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, this might be a better team in November than it is right now with Collins. The problem is November they have Miami and Notre Dame. So
yeah, exactly. Last thing I was going to say on Syracuse, by the way, we came into the season, again, they've got a ridiculous away from home schedule. They still have games at SMU, at Georgia Tech, at Miami, at Notre Dame. Like, those are the 4 remaining road games. 4 remaining home games: Pitt, North Carolina, and Boston College. If you were going to make a bowl game in the preseason, we said you had to win all your home games or steal one on the road. Last week, they stole one on the road against Clemson, a game we never thought that they had a shot to win. You gave it back this week with a loss at home.
Yep.
So, again, whole thing turned on its head when Angeli went out, and I'm not blaming anyone for that. I'm just saying prospects change when you lost one of these home games with all what you have left on the road. So a lot of season left for Syracuse. We'll see kind of how they end up. They may or may not make a bowl game. We'll find out.
Yeah. Coin flip there.
Yep. Duke 38, Syracuse 3. Anything else, Mike, before we get to some weekly awards?
I think we're in the awards section now.
Let's do it and get Producer Scott out of here. The Go ACC moment of the week. We had one from Friday night. What was it? We had it in the text thread. Hang on, it's somewhere in there.
Tony Elliott not knowing the overtime rules.
Oh, yeah. 100%. Go ACC to that.
What? Hey, I got one.
The ball
what the
boy
hell
stuff?
was going on? What was going on? Yeah, the ball boy stuff. Louisville Pitt. What the hell was that?
Oh, yeah. Was that a skit? Was that planned? I don't know.
So I think Pitt forced a turnover, and then they get to the sideline, and they're ripping the ball out of the Louisville. It was a Louisville ball boy on the Pitt sideline, which is not. I mean, that's what they put on each sideline, whatever. It was a Louisville ball boy. They're ripping the ball out of the ball boy's hands, and then doing some sort of basketball skit. And when I sent it to you guys, I was like, was this planned? And then I realized that guy was actually from Louisville, not Pitt, so it was not planned. But there was like a full-on mugging on the sideline.
Yeah.
Very
strange. So I didn't see the whole thing, but I think it was like, so Louisville turned it over. So it was like their team ball because they had the ball in offense. So it had like the Louisville branding. And he was just like trying to get the ball back, but then Pitt wanted to celebrate with the ball. So that's what ensued.
So odd. And said ball boy / equipment manager, whatever he is, he put out a
he made the thumbnail.
Yeah, he made the thumbnail for this on YouTube. Check that out. He put a tweet out saying, "Got the ball back, got the win," which I respect a lot. So
give that guy a game ball.
Yeah,
I mean, he got it back, but the whole thing about do your job, he did his job.
He did,
supporting the team. And Dennis with a really nice nomination here, by the way. We didn't really cover the part where Dylan Lonergan throws an interception there at the very end of the Cal BC game.
Yeah.
Cal kind of tries to run it out. They have the ball on the 1 yard line. They need to take a knee, but they don't have room for it. And it was false start, and then another false start, and then Boston College jumps off sides, and then now Cal has room to take a knee.
Yeah, but that was a mess.
It was quite the sequence trying to get through the final 15 seconds with the game in the books. So Go ACC to that.
Yep.
The Brian Van Gorder Memorial, you tried award. Florida State tried to ward off the trap game here.
Yeah.
Did not go so well.
Florida State's issues with trap games.
Pitt and Boston College tried to hold on to leads.
I think those are good.
Yeah, that'll work. NC State tried to beat a team with an interim head coach.
Feels good.
Yeah. I don't think I have a Bobby Petrino Memorial you didn't try award this week. I didn't see any real effort issue. I might give it to Georgia Tech's offense in the first half. That was a tough scene, I'll say.
Could this be kind of like a reverse thing? Like, did Bobby Petrino, did he not actually try to get Sam Pittman fired on Saturday? Or what? Or did he? Was it just the defense? Was it?
My favorite meme I saw all day was Bobby Petrino's face with the neck brace from his motorcycle accident superimposed on top of Thanos saying, "Where did your failures bring you? Right back to me." Look forward to
interim coach.
Yeah, well, and then at some point he's got to complete the circle and go back to the Falcons too, so that'll be great.
Oh, that'll be good. I bet you're looking forward to that.
Yeah. Kobe Bryant Memorial Volume Shooter of the Week. Jamal Haynes, tough scene for Georgia Tech. Could not run the ball whatsoever. Let me pull up that line real quick. Also, Stanford's running backs, 22 carries for 64 yards. Yikes. Mm-hmm. Jamal Haynes, 10 carries for 21 yards. Good time. Anthony Manzano, I did not. We'll hit that real quick in a second. Mike, do we have any unsanctioned awards this week?
Syracuse.
Queen Elizabeth II Memorial, You Died Award, Syracuse.
Yeah. Yeah. Tough scene.
Almost Squirrel White as well, I mentioned earlier.
Yeah. Squirrel White. Yikes. Like almost literally.
Like almost literally. Yeah.
Mufasa. No. Team of the week. It's got to be the Who's.
It's got to be the Who's, man.
Got to be the Who's.
Wake in a losing effort?
I was going to say, honorable mention in a losing effort, the Wake Forest Steeman Deeks. Played a hell of a game. Deserved to win. Team of the week. Player of the week, Chandler Morris, played his tail off for Virginia. It wasn't always pretty, but scored 5 touchdowns in an upset win. That's my player of the week.
Turbo Richard, Boston College, 171 yards rushing. Terrian Stewart, Virginia Tech, 174 yards rushing.
Yep.
Nate Shepard, 15 for 168 and 2 touchdowns for Duke.
Yep. Yeah.
Good running back play this week.
Yeah. A few good games for sure. Quickly, I want to hit on this. We mentioned earlier that we would. Anthony Manzano. Joey, can you explain to me and justify how ESPN's FPI rankings have Georgia, Alabama, and Ole Miss ranked ahead of Miami just because Miami didn't play this week?
Nope.
I tweeted something out about this earlier today. There are just a number of things about the FPI rankings that tell me that this is not something I should take seriously whatsoever.
Correct.
Never.
Don't worry about FPI.
I think the specific one that
up.
I called out today is that FPI says that 15 of the top 17 teams in the country are in the SEC or the Big Ten, and another one is Notre Dame. So you're telling me that there's only one team from anywhere else that is a top 17 team in the country. It's not a good ranking system.
FPI is just a way for ESPN to pretend that they have analytics outside of SP+, which
You
they
realize
don't.
You realize they had FPI for years and then signed Bill Connolly to bring in the SP+.
That tells
Why
you
do think
everything
they
you
did
need
that?
to. Tells you everything you need to know.
Yeah, it is an absolutely fugazi ranking system, and I would just ignore it if I could. So,
Yes.
yeah, highly recommended. Yeah, Georgia Tech's like free fall in FPI, and I realize again they didn't look good this week, but like, what? Like,
I can't even tell you the last time I looked at the FPI. I consume a lot of college sports content. I did not, for football in particular, and I can't tell you the last time I looked at FPI. It is meaningless to me.
I would not recommend paying like any attention to it.
Not a metric. Not a metric that matters.
Yeah, not at all. Mike, Scott, anything else? Should we work on getting out of here?
Yes.
Only an hour 39. This is tidy.
Is there an NFL game still going on, like in the wee hours of
Just
Monday
ended.
mornings?
They just ended.
Okay.
Tied at 40 in overtime.
The Packers played for a tie.
Speaking
Jordan
of tying
Love.
in NFL games.
Jordan Love couldn't get the offense set up. His time was expiring and threw one out of the back of the end zone. They kicked a field goal, 1 second left to tie the game.
Score got me, though. 40-40.
Yeah, that's what happens when you end with ties. Stupid. It's always been dumb.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Fun show. We got another one coming for you later this week, previewing week 6. What do we got on the slate? A bunch of games on Saturday, mostly conference games.
Miami, Florida State.
Yeah, Miami, Florida State. That is a big one coming this week. Keep it tuned here. We will get you ready for that and a lot more later in the week. YouTube.com/@the-ACC Football Podcast. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon. You'll be notified when we're going to go live. If you haven't hit the like button on this show already, please do that. That would be really helpful for us. Twitter @FTRSJoey, @Mike McDaniel SI, @BC Podcast ACC. Basketball Conference Podcast @gmail.com is the email address.
Nailed it.
We're on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, wherever you go find your audio podcasts. Appreciate the people for doing that. Mike, Scott, we good? You want to come back and preview week 6?
Super good. Let's do it.
Scott, you want to do another tight 20 on Delaware or anything?
Delaware next week. Western Kentucky is coming to Tubby Raymond Field, baby. Let's do it.
Blue hen up. Let's go.
Yep.
All right. Until next time, for Mr. Mike McDaniel, and Mr. Producer Scott, I am Joey Weaver. Thank you guys so much for listening. We will talk to you again very, very soon. Until then, go ACC.